All right, let me get that off. There we go. Hello, hello. Welcome again to Nonprofit Nuggets. I am your host, Brad Tisdale, and I'm excited to be with you today. Remember, this is a short conversation with amazing professionals that will give you actionable insights into key areas of your nonprofit organization. And I'm excited to be here with everyone today and excited about my guest, Joshua Custer. Joshua is with Blue Trust. We'll get him to tell us a little bit about that. And just really enjoyed striking up a conversation and a friendship with Joshua over the last year or so, and his heart for ministry, his heart for what he does. And so thank you for being on today.
Brad, man, from the onset, let me just thank you. I'm honored to be on the show. Your heart for ministries as well, and just to see how God is working with the skill sets He's equipped you to come alongside them. I think for ministries and people who are in just kingdom work, sometimes it's lonely and they need people to come alongside them. And the area of finances sometimes is lonely as well. And to have an expert like you, man, it's just really cool to be a part of.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. That is quite kind. Well, hopefully, we're going to be able to share some good nuggets of wisdom with our
That's
audience
right. Yeah.
today. Speaking of nuggets, I must ask, I mean, do you have a favorite chicken nugget out there that you like to share? Any brand or anything?
Man, I love that. All right. So it's funny you asked that. My wife and I, we are on like a hunt, not necessarily for a nugget, for a tender, and specifically a buffalo chicken tender.
Yeah.
So our favorite place to
Okay.
find that is a local joint down here in Naples, Florida called Buffalo Chips. So that's got to be my
Okay.
favorite nugget that's out there.
Got it. I love it. There you go. There you go. There we go. That's great. I love it. I love it. Well, good. Well, tell me a little bit about what you do for Blue Trust and what you love about your role there.
Yeah, great question. I get the privilege of coming alongside families and institutions who are wrestling with the decisions around stewardship and generosity and thinking through that in the lens of what the Bible has to say about whether it's the time, talent, treasure that we've been entrusted with. And so at Blue Trust, we've been a firm for around 45 years now. We were founded really with a distinct mission to help individuals free up financial resources to fulfill the Great Commission. And so that offers an opportunity, again, to serve families, but also the receiving end of that generosity, which is individuals. And I love doing that because I get to apply what the Bible says with a number of technical strategies. And often I pause and go, are we in a ministry or a business? And the reality of it, the answer is yes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I love that, and that's exactly where I find my place too. It's like the finances, like our ministries or churches or nonprofit organizations, they do have this mission focus, but they're also businesses. Like you've still got to run
Yeah.
them, and you still got to
Yeah.
manage them and do these kind of things. So you and I kind of both camp out in the same space, which is great. So today
Well,
we're
it's
going to be talking.
important. It's important you think about just what stewardship means from the onset. I mean, that's something that takes a lot of prayer and discernment.
Mm,
And it's a combination of what I think is what is God's prompting, what's his calling, but also how do we turn that into actionable items with the skills and the competency and the mindset that he's given us. And
right.
when we think about that in the lens of the world and kind of where we are in the United States, we've been given so much. And so there's
Mhm.
a responsibility to whom much is required, much is given, much is required. And that's really the seat that I think puts the impetus on the work we get to be about.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think a lot of the discernment, people might say, well, how do I figure these things out? These are prayerful and godly things. But I think the cool thing about this is the discernment piece, the practical piece comes through in an element of like community and professionals. So you have boards and you have employees and you have, consultants and advisors and all those kind of things. And they help you figure out what is the way, how to take that lens and put it in a practical kind of operational way.
There's a great story that you might have heard. There's there's this flood that sweeps through this local town and floods this guy's home, and he gets to the roof and all he can see around him is just flooded everything, right?
Mm.
And he goes, man, he starts praying to God, God, come save me. And all of a sudden this boat comes by, and the boat says, hey, come on, let's go. And he goes, no, I'm praying to God that he would help me here. He's gonna provide for me. Well, then another boat comes by, and he says the same thing. No, I'm still praying. God's gonna provide here. Well, a helicopter finally comes by and says, hey, let's go. It's time to get out. The water's rising. And the same response. I'm praying for God to provide here. Well, eventually the water catches up, and he floods and he drowns, and he gets before God in heaven. He goes, God, why didn't you help me? I was praying to you. And God goes, well, I sent you 3 people already. You didn't respond to them. So it's kind of to the same note that you just mentioned. It's important to have a counsel around you and helping you in this area.
Maybe